Hi everyone, welcome back. I will be having my 35th birthday this year in July, which means that after my birthday has passed, I will be closer to being 50 than to being 20, which honestly blows my mind. It is so weird to think about. As they say, age is just a number, so it matters way more how you feel. Overall, I have to say, I really like aging so far. I'm enjoying it. I feel like the older that I get, the more comfortable I am with myself, the more confidence I have, and also just the little things start bothering you less and less because I think you just gain life experience and you know not to worry about the small stuff. I feel much more like in touch with who I am and what I want out of life. There's a lot fewer questions and insecurities and mental health problems and all of that stuff than back when I was 20. So overall, I have to say that so far I really like aging, but it's also just really weird. It's weird to think about. Today, I have a fun video planned. I've seen this video topic around a bunch of times recently, and I thought it could be a nice change of pace because I want to share some beauty mistakes that I've made in my 20s that I regret now that I'm in my 30s. So kind of combining the whole getting older thing with some beauty things, and I'm also going to talk about things like confidence. And of course, the whole point of this video is not to put myself down or put anyone else down who has done these things or is doing these things. It's just a fun, lighthearted video, just some habits and things that I am doing now that I'm in my 30s that I kind of wish I started doing back when I was still in my 20s. Feel free to grab yourself something nice to drink. I have my little table over here with my cup of tea, so feel free to grab something nice for yourself and we can begin. All right, the first thing that I want to mention is my hair. If you've been around for a little bit longer, you might know that my hair used to look a little different, and I can't really show you because today I'm wearing it in a braid. I actually have to wash my hair later on this afternoon. But for the longest time, I thought that my hair was extremely difficult and weird. And my hairdressers never really made it easier on me either. I thought that my hair was just unmanageable, super frizzy. I knew it was wavy, but I didn't know that I could actually get it to become curly. I just thought that I don't know, it felt like I kind of had a sheep exploding on my face. That was how I've always described my hair up until I learned when I was 30 or 31 something, that I actually don't have frizzy, unmanageable hair. I have wavy hair, and that if I changed my hair routine around, it would look a lot different and it would be a lot easier to manage. It's funny how we think that we kind of know our hairstyle, but I hear from so many people that they found out that they actually had quite different hair than they thought they did, like later on in life, like in their 30s like me. And it's kind of a weird way because maybe there's not enough information about people who have like coarse hair or wavy hair. Because I've always wanted straight hair. I remember back when I was like in middle school and my mom would still, like, I wasn't old enough to say what I wanted with my hair, so my mom would say to the hairdressers, like, cut it really short because then it gets all curly. And I hated that. I hated it so much because I was a little bit bullied back then, and they used to call me boy because of my short hair, and so I never wanted short hair and I never wanted the curls, and I always thought that if I wanted my hair to become curly, it would have to be super, super short. So I always wanted it longer, and I didn't want them to cut any layers because then it would start to curl up again. So I wanted it long, no layers, and then I would blow dry it. I would use a hair straightener on it. I would use all that stuff that's like really sticky that I would kind of scrunch in my hair that would make it straight and not frizzy. And it costs a lot of money, it costs a lot of time, and in the end it never stayed straight. I have to say, I think I do look good in straight hair. So after straightening it for like an hour, spending time on it, I think it looked good. I think it looked good straight. But the thing was, it looked like that for like maybe 1 or 2 hours, and after that it would start frizzing again, it would start curling again, and as soon as I left the house, it was just a done deal. And I remember feeling like stressed. at certain like important days. For example, when my sister got married and I wanted my hair to stay straight, I took my straightener with me to the place that she was getting married so that I could like straighten it up in the bathroom, because if I leave the house it's gonna start frizzing up again. And I cannot believe I did all of that to myself, all that stress, all that time, all that money for the hair straightening products that I was using. And all that time, I just didn't know that I had another option. My hairdresser never told me, she just did what she's always done. She was a really nice person. But yeah, she never gave me the advice or anything. And I remember when she was sick or something, I went to another hairdresser once and she told me, you know, you have wavy hair. So if you want, I can cut layers and it can become really curly and you would lose the frizz. So I thought, great. I thought, you know, that's great news. And then she did my hair and she put in so much mousse and wax and hair gel that my hair was curly, but it was really, I really didn't like it. It felt so greasy, it felt crunchy from the hair gel and from the wax, and I felt like I had to wash it the next day when normally I wash my hair every week, once a week. So I thought that if I wanted those curls, I would have to start applying all of those like products in my hair, and I really don't like that look of that crunchy, dried up hair gel look on me. So I went back to my old hairdresser and she was like, no, she shouldn't have done that, and she just did my hair like she's always done it. Long story short, I found out through a random YouTube video that randomly popped on my feed that said, your hair's not frizzy, it's wavy. And it had a picture of a girl, like a before and after picture of, she had exactly my hair. And I thought, wait. So I watched that video, I fell into the rabbit hole, I watched all the curly girl videos, and I became convinced that this was me, this was my hair. And I started applying that routine, and ever since the first time I changed things around, I stopped brushing it after washing my hair, I stopped putting it in like a towel, I stopped blow drying it, I stopped trying to get it straightened and instead used curly products. And it looked way better, it feels so much better, it's so much easier. I'm so happy that I now don't own a hair straightener anymore, I don't own a hair dryer anymore, I don't need any of that stuff, I can just let it air dry. It feels like a huge thing just fell off my shoulders. So I am really happy to now have found out that there was nothing wrong with my hair, that I just needed to treat it differently. The next thing that I used to do, and this is very embarrassing, is I would either stuff my bra or I would buy bras that were padded. And I'm not kidding, the padding was like this thick. I've always been small-chested as a girl, my mom is also small-chested, and it used to be a huge insecurity of mine. I wanted bigger boobs. Back when I was in my teens and early 20s, I wanted that like beautiful cleavage and you know, have those sexy curves. Back when I was younger, somehow that was important to me. Maybe it also had to do with the fact that I used to always be called boy because I didn't really have any curves until I hit 15. At that point my body really started changing. I started getting hips and I started getting a butt, and I definitely got curves, but my chest didn't really fill out with it. And I think like my boobs only stopped growing when I was like 28 or something. I feel like they had kind of a little bit of a growth spurt back when I was like 25. It's really weird. I feel like my body is late when it comes to certain things. But I'm still small-chested now and I love it. I have no issues with it. But back then I used to stuff my bra. I'd have these plastic squishy things that kind of looked like silicone, but you just put it in your bra and it just lifted everything like up and towards each other to give you that cleavage. And the thing was, I don't think that there's anything wrong with wanting other types of boobs or even stuffing your bra. Like, everyone can do whatever they feel comfortable with. But for me, I wasn't comfortable with it at all. It was very uncomfortable. They kind of hurt a little bit. And this is extremely gross, but those plastic squishy things, they start to absorb sweat and it just got really gross. And the whole thing just kind of grosses me out now. And the funny thing is that I started doing this for work too. And at a certain point, once you start doing it, you can't just not do it anymore because it's a noticeable change. So once you kind of commit to stuffing your bra or wearing like super padded bras, you can't really stop it because people will know that that's what you've been doing. Do you know what I mean? All that said, after a while, I started getting much more confident and my insecurity about my boobs just kind of went away, and I just thought, you know, what am I doing? I'm just gonna buy regular bras that are comfortable and I'm gonna embrace my body the way it is. I am very, very, very happy that I never got a surgery, because back when I was younger, I was kind of contemplating getting a boob job after a while. And I'm so glad that I never did it. Not that there's anything wrong with it at all. I'm not against getting plastic surgery if you think that makes you happier. In my case though, I'm happy that I didn't do it because I'm so happy with how they are now. I'm happy that I never got surgery that I didn't need for medical reasons, because there are always risks involved. It's painful, you have to keep up a thing like that, which I didn't know before. But if you get a boob job, if I understand correctly, you have to repeat that every like 10 or 15 years. So there's a lot of like risk for complications and things like that I'm just really happy that I never did that to myself, because I felt like I wouldn't probably have gotten any more confident if I did get that surgery. And especially with us women and boobs, I feel like women who have big boobs want smaller boobs, women who have smaller boobs want bigger boobs, or maybe they're uneven, or, you know, I don't think I've ever said the word boobs as much in a video before, or like in general. Which leads me to my next point, which is a beauty mistake I made in my 20s, which was telling everyone about all of my insecurities. So as I said, I used to be quite insecure about my looks. I was insecure about the fact that I never get tan. I was insecure about my small boobs. I was insecure about a lot of things. And I kind of developed a habit where I would tell people about all of these things. And I think I did that subconsciously to try and protect myself from others pointing it out. I was really horrible at receiving compliments. I would always be like, oh yeah, but, you know, I could never just say thank you. And I would tell people like, I hate my boobs, I hate this, I hate that. I know I don't know, I never used the word ugly, I don't think, but like I really was very vocal about all of my insecurities. And that was just a way of me trying to protect myself from other people pointing it out, because I feel like that would have been even more painful, if you get what I mean. And now I feel like one of the best things you can do for yourself is accept how you look, for your happiness, for your well-being, but also just for your confidence. I feel like if you're a confident person, you immediately become more attractive because people like seeing confident people. And so it is okay to kind of step into your own power and embrace how you look and really, you know, radiate that confidence outwards. And it doesn't really matter what other people say about your appearance, as long as you like how you look, you're taking good care of yourself. And I also feel like recently with TikTok and everything, beauty standards have gone so crazy. And I see all of these videos on YouTube about, for example, buccal fat removal, which is where they remove fat tissue from your cheeks and you get these like really like, I don't know, these like hollow cheeks that make your cheekbones stand out a lot. Apparently this is a very popular procedure right now on TikTok and everything, and I'm like, oh, the best thing I think we can just do for ourselves as women or as people in general is not consume content like that. Because, you know, 10 years ago the Brazilian butt lift was super popular, and now the Kardashians have gotten theirs reversed and now they're like super skinny. Like, these trends come and go as if we're talking about a pair of jeans, for example, but we're talking about our bodies. It's very strange to me because I don't consume that content, and every time I see people talking about their insecurities, for example, girls who have a bit of, you know, rounder face and they have like good chipmunk cheeks, and they feel like insecure because of the buccal fat removal trend. And I feel like if you just don't consume all those TikToks, you're gonna feel 100 times better about yourself. We come in all kinds of different shapes and sizes, and we're each uniquely beautiful in our own way. If I start to go online, I'm gonna see things that apparently are wrong with my body. For example, I have hip dips, which I've never heard about before. It never bothered me before. And then you hear about hip dips and you start to get curious and you see pictures and you're like, oh yeah, I have hip dips. And apparently that's wrong. Like I should do exercises to get rid of my hip dips or something. It makes me both laugh and cry at the same time. Not for myself, because I'm completely fine with my hip dips. It never bothered me before, so it doesn't bother me now. But for all of those people out there who it does bother, it's a little bit sad. Next beauty mistake that I made in my 20s that I kind of wish I didn't was tanning without wearing an SPF. I just talked about how I was insecure about not being able to get a tan, and there was a time when people have always told me that I should try and get more tan. Actually, a couple of weeks ago, someone walked up to me, a random stranger I don't know. This person just walked up to me and said, you know, you should get some sun. You're so pale, you look like a ghost. This happens to me all the time, I'm telling you. People always tell me I should get some sun, I should get a nice tan. Doesn't bother me anymore in the slightest, but back when I was younger, it really did. And so I tried everything to get a tan. I went to those tanning salons. I put on all of that oil that's supposed to make you like tan faster and does not have an SPF in it, which is so dangerous, especially for someone with my complexion. I did all of that. I still never got a tan. So after a while, when I started learning more about how dangerous going to a tanning bed salon can be, especially if you have my complexion, and I didn't see any results anyway, it was also quite expensive, and I just thought, you know, I kind of made a decision right then and there to just accept my skin for what it is, never go tanning again, and properly protect my skin with an SPF. I don't like stay away from the sun. I enjoy the sunshine. But for example, if I'm out at a restaurant and there's like outdoor seating in the summer, I will choose a table that's in the shadow, for example, or in the shade. So I don't go like in the sun and stay there for a long time because of, you know, it's bad for you. It can also increase premature aging. So I try to properly protect my skin now. The next thing that I used to do was favoring the products themselves over habits and lifestyles. I'm not saying that the products you're using are not important. I do think that it does matter which products you're using, what the ingredients are, and what your skin is like, what you need. So definitely products do matter, I think. But what matters way more when it comes to taking care of your physical appearance is, I think, our habits and our lifestyle. Making sure you're eating healthy things most of the time, making sure you're getting enough sleep most of the time, drinking enough water most of the time. All of these boring things that we all know that are simple, but not always easy. I think those matter so much more than, you know, buying super expensive products with all the best ingredients. I think when you look at someone who is taking care of themselves physically and mentally, you can kind of see that in their appearance as well. And I think that's always, you know, very attractive, makes someone look healthy. Of course, we all have things that we cannot control, but we can try just to do our best, I think. And I also think that once we found a product that really works for us, we can just stick with that product and not try too many other brands or things because, yeah, your skin likes what it likes. And just like with many things in life, there's usually no quick fix. Sometimes there can be, but I also feel like the more healthy we live, those are like hard decisions that we have to make every day and can be a little bit exhausting sometimes, but they will yield the most results probably. Next thing I want to talk about quickly is my eyebrows. I'm someone, I've always had really light eyebrows and not a lot of hairs. Like I've never plucked my eyebrows, I've never removed any hairs, and it's like really thin. I almost have no eyebrows. So if I don't draw my eyebrows in myself, you cannot see my eyebrows. And since I also have quite a high forehead, which used to be also a big insecurity of mine, and now it doesn't bother me in the slightest. But if I don't paint on my eyebrows, this is gonna be like really big. So I do think I look better if you can see my eyebrows a bit better. And back when I was younger, and I was still doing this in the first couple of years of being on YouTube, is I made them really like harsh. So I would just basically draw a really big, thick line. And I never really considered the fact that I might look better when my eyebrows are a little bit thinner and when the color matches my color, my hair color. So it was actually a lot of people watching my videos on YouTube mentioning like comments like, you know, I like your videos, but honestly your eyebrows are a distraction for me. I would get comments about my eyebrows all the time, and I would figure out like, what are they talking about? Like, my eyebrows are weird. And then, you know, I do kind of think that they looked a little bit weird now, so I'm happy that I changed it. I'm actually still using exactly the same eyebrow pencil as I did then. I'm just applying it a lot less thick, and I'm trying to like draw hairs a bit more instead of just being like, I just don't have a lot of hairs in general. Also, if I don't wear mascara, my eyelashes are really short and really straight, so you cannot see my eyelashes at all. Another weird thing that no one asked for is the fact that I don't have armpit hair. It never grew there. So I've never had to shave my armpits. I mean, no one has to shave their armpits. It's all your own personal decision, of course. But I've just never had any hair there. I'm, yeah, kind of hairless, except on my head. Another thing I used to do was not cleansing my face. So I would go to sleep with my makeup on for days in a row when I was younger. And what I would just do is wake up, and I cannot believe I did this. I would just wake up with my makeup still like caked on, and you know how the lashes start to kind of like clump together and stuff. And I would just, you know, do a little bit of a touch up here and there and just go about my day. And you know, next day, did it again. Sometimes I would wear the same makeup for like 3-4 days in a row without taking it off. I used to have acne-prone skin back when I was younger, but it was hormonal. So once I started my birth control, my acne disappeared completely. It never came back. So I never had that incentive to properly clean your face in order not to break out, for example. So I just figured, you know, it's fine. And obviously, now that I'm getting a bit older, I do want to really take care of my skin. So I am first using a makeup remover and then also using a cleanser, a gentle cleanser, before I apply my moisturizer before I go to bed. And I've never came across a product that was like a 2-in-1 cleanser and makeup remover that I liked. Because either it wouldn't really take off my makeup that well and I had to like really scrub hard, or it would dry out my skin, the cleanser. I need a really, really gentle cleanser because of the fact that I have super dry skin. So I use a makeup remover and a cleanser. My skin feels so much better, obviously. I don't even wear makeup always. I have a few makeup-free days a week usually. And I will still clean my face properly and stuff. And I think that really makes a big difference. And the last beauty mistake that I made when I was younger, when I was in my early 20s, actually like maybe up until like 27, 28 or something, was just getting confused about my personal style. I am the type of person, I like a lot of different things. I have so many different hobbies, so many different interests. I like a lot of different styles when it comes to things like, you know, home decor, clothing, hairstyle, makeup. Like, I like a lot of different looks. I like it when girls paint their hair pink. I like it when someone has a super natural look and hardly any makeup on. I like it when girls go all out with makeup and it looks fabulous. Like, I like all of these things. And so I got very confused as to what was to be my thing. And it got to a point that no matter what I looked like myself, I would always feel inferior to other women, especially when I saw someone with a different kind of style that I also liked. I basically just wanted to throw everything in the trash and start fresh and get her style. And then someone else would walk along looking completely different, and then I was like, oh yeah, I need to go that way. So I was very confused and very insecure, and I felt inferior. And it's so funny to me now because it is so unrealistic. You cannot look like everyone else that you like. Everyone else has their own thing, and it's okay for you to have your own thing. And of course, some people like to have a bit of more variety in their closet, for example, like they can dress up as different styles and have it suit their mood, which is also perfectly fine. I myself like to keep things simple, so I don't have too many options. And after a while, I just accepted, you know, ever since I was a kid, I've always just liked wearing jeans, sneakers, and a top. that's gonna be my style. If I wanna branch out a little, if I see something that I might like, sure, I'll try it. I'm not gonna like be like, this is my style, I'm never gonna try anything else. But it really did help to just accept my thing. And now I am at a point where I can appreciate anyone who looks fabulous in their own way and not feel inferior myself. I think when it comes to looks and feeling confident, it's also just about realizing that not everything is about looks, that there are way more important things in life than someone's appearance, both your own as well as others. So I try to not judge myself for my appearance and also not judge others for theirs, which is, I think, very important because we live in a society where there is so much emphasis on how someone looks. And I really think that we are missing out on a huge opportunity to get to know all kinds of different people simply because of, you know, how someone looks. And once you kind of figure that out for yourself, who you are, what you find important in life, how you want to contribute to the world and things like that, just makes everything a lot easier. All right, that's it. Thank you so much for joining me again today for this video. I hope you had a nice time. It's something different than I usually talk about, but yeah, I felt like talking about it, so I hope you enjoy. Let me know what you think down in the comment section down below. I'm curious to hear your thoughts when it comes to this type of thing. And maybe you've done some of these things too, or maybe you think that these things could be working in a different way. Whatever it is, please share that down below. And I'm gonna let you go and we're gonna talk again soon. Bye bye.